I kind of, my morning starts off with him coming in the office. Comes in, good morning. First thing he does is glances at the TV, makes him see where the market's at, up or down. If it's down, it's political. It's who's in office that day. That's the cause of the market being down. Other than that, he gets my morning going because he gets me to start thinking about things. Whatever he throws out, he gets my mind thinking that I have to act or do something in this manner.
When we were at the old office, we would start our day off with oranges. My mom would peel an orange, or actually 2 oranges, and we'd sit at the in his office. He had that leather sofa. Bill and I were there. Dad would be at his desk, and we would start the day off with sharing some oranges. I don't like oranges, but it was something we had to eat, and I long for those days because those were the good old days.
Well, he still comes in too, and he'll have sandwiches from your mom for Bill, and he'll say Steffi, and he's the only person that gets away calling me that. And he'll say, Steffi, give Billy, let him know that Mom packed him a sandwich today.
I think the one time we got McDonald's years ago, and he's always afraid if the wife ever finds out.
When we have donuts in the office, we know Dad loves jelly donuts, so we always wrap one up and put it on his desk. So when he comes in the morning, and that's his little snacky. So sorry, Mrs.
What's he gonna do? What's she gonna do?
As much as Dad seems very conventional, but if you think about it, he's a bit of a rebel.
Oh, very much so.
He fought against the system in IDS.
Well, yeah, you'd have to be.
Pushed the thing in FSC.
He started an independent broker-dealer in 1976. There weren't that many out there at the time.
I started with IDS, and so did your dad. Now, what people need to understand about IDS, it's a great place to start a career, but it was almost like a cult. And if you left, you were a leper. So WRP actually tried to, tell me if I'm wrong here, Dave, I think you guys tried to recruit me for about 10 years, and I resisted for 10 years. And the reason I resisted was because of all the negative stuff that I heard from IDS people. Oh, you wouldn't go work for Bill Pintaric, would you? And then one day I'm at the office, and Bill Sr. and David come walking into my office, and unannounced. And my secretary came in and said, yeah, Pintaric's here to see you. Okay. They came in, sat down, said, look, we've wanted you for 10 years, and we're going to make you an offer that you can't refuse. I was waiting for the Godfather music to start. That didn't happen. There was no horses' heads and anything like that. But we sat and talked, and I thought, geez, what a great guy this is. All this stuff that I heard all these years is totally wrong.
I came to WRP and actually started in '78. I didn't take my test till '79. So, of course, I wasn't allowed to sell prior to that. And we ended up joining. I was with a partner by the name of Bob Delaney, who's still in the business. He and I were in the insurance business and wanted to get into the securities business and financial planning. And we just went around a bunch of financial planners that we knew, the few that we knew in the Cleveland area. We're thinking about getting into the securities and financial planning business. Who do you think we should join? And almost all of them said, look at this Bill Pintaric, look at the WRP out of Youngstown. And since we talked to half a dozen people and 4 or 5 of them said that, we decided to come down.
Outwardly, you wouldn't think the way he dresses and things like that, but inwardly he's a very, very humble man from where he came from. And he's very caring, and to me that's everything.
You talk, people know Dad as a suit and tie driving S-Class Mercedes. He didn't always have that. He was bankrupt in 1960, and he had holes in his shoes. He had to fill the sole with cardboard, and he had a whole beat-up car in DeSoto when he went to the interview with IDS.
I was just remembering as a young employee and intern starting at WRP and trying to make a good impression and have a lot of ambition and everything, and I'd come in on Saturdays, and the only person that would beat me there on Saturday was him. You know, the thing that I think it taught me is, you know, the value of hard work and actually what it takes to own your own business. And you know, he would be in there washing windows or, you know, vacuuming or stuff like that. And when you own your own business, that's what it takes.
I remember the new guy on the block, so to speak, and I opened my own little office. And Bill came in for the first time when I met him. And here's this guy that walks up into my wee little cubicle, impeccably dressed, in a fur coat, and I'm going, oh my God, you know, where's he coming from? GQ magazine. So we're talking, and he said, how you doing? I said, well, you know, it's a tough business. I really don't know what to do. I'm just new. He said, well, let's go out. Let's take a walk, and let's walk up and down the street and do some cold calling. And I'm like, oh my God, cold calling? I can't cold call. And my best recollection of him was he would go into each business and just very casually talk to all the owners. And he would ask them how they were doing. It was just a personal thing. He wasn't selling, he was educating. And he would bring out his little pad and he would write down all the numbers. And after a few minutes, the owner or whoever we were talking to felt so comfortable, it was like we knew each other for years and years and years.
I kind of miss the, back in the old days, we'd have the monthly meetings down in Mansfield. Yeah, before these guys really started to move in and take over. I think Billy did, but you know, Bill would run those meetings, and you know, he'd say, you know, if you go to somebody's house, you know, take your shoes off, ask for a glass of water, you know, become a guest, and they right away drop their defenses.
The thing that I was amazed at my dad's ability was to write upside down. You know, he'd had the yellow pad, and he'd be able to make a presentation right upside down so the people that he was talking to could follow along rather than going back and forth.
I remember the balanced financial plans that FSC had. I don't know if you guys remember or not. Would take all the information and send it down to Atlanta and then come back with this, basically a boilerplate type thing. And your dad would just take this information and go off on his own and personalize it. I mean, really humanize it to the individuals. And we wrote it ourselves, I know. And the thing is that when we presented this to a client, it was like us being them, and they were part of us. It was, no one had ever taken that position and that much interest in these potential clients before. And I can tell you, out of 10 clients, 10 individual people, 9 became clients. It was unbelievable, only because we showed them that we cared, and that's what he showed. He showed that he was genuinely caring about individuals.
We just had a long-time client of his, 40-some years, almost 50 years, pass away within the last couple months. And we went to the calling hours, and the daughters were there. And they were talking about he'd come over for the visit, talk about investments. And it's like most of us, you talk to your clients about 5 minutes about their investments, and you spend the next 2 hours talking about family and whatever's going on. But he always would have coffee and cake, even if it was midnight. And there were a lot of times they would be midnight when he would leave, he would be having their cake.
I think for the interactions I've had with some of his clients over the years, and I've had a few, I think the resounding theme would be, I'm glad I listened, and I wish I would have done more.
You know, where he was really in his prime is doing the seminars.
Right.
And the adult education. We used to do adult education at the high school, 12 weeks, 2 hours a night. He would be in his glory. He would just love to get up there and start teaching people.
We were in Columbus one time, and I was probably in 8th, 9th grade. And I just happened to sit in on a presentation he was making in Columbus at a hotel. Didn't know what the subject matter was, but my dad was so commanding. You know, I'm so used to my dad being just dad. And he gets up in front of this group of people, he's got a powerful voice. And he spoke, it's like, wow, that's the same guy that's at home. For my 20th first birthday, I bought a car for myself. I bought a Corvette convertible, which sounds like a lot, but it was a used car. At the time, it was probably 10 years old. My mom said, you're only 21 once. Get a Corvette convertible. How cool is that?
First brother.
And I remember the deal was great. I knew what the market on that thing was. It was probably $500 lower than what the market value was. But Dad had to negotiate at least $100 off the price on stuff. And I'm sitting there wanting this car, and he's ready to walk away. He's like, "No, you don't do that."
I remember when I first told him I was going out and going to be working with clients, and his advice to me was to make sure that no matter what you were considering of selling or offering, to invest in it yourself, and eat your own cooking, so to speak. And that was always one of the things that he harped on. And to this day, after he asks about my kids, every single time I see him, he gets him real close and whispers and asks me if I'm saving money. So every single time.
When I first started in business, I mean, I don't know, selling insurance, and I don't know nothing else, fixed annuities. So, I mean, I could call, and he would answer the phone and give me advice and help me with one on a few appointments, with me in the beginning and stuff like that too. That kind of taught me the ropes. I learned real quick because I found when I went on appointments with him, we split the commission. But I thought we split his commission, but no, we split my commission. Whoa, wait a minute.
I always remember when I'd get my paycheck, Bill Sr. would write some nice comments on there. He'd say, "Good job, Ted. Keep up the good work." And that meant a lot to me, because, I was out there busting my chops, but, he was appreciating what I was doing, And so when I'd get my check, whatever it was, there'd always be some positive reinforcement. And that just meant a lot to me.
Things Dad is very proud of. We get your statements. We have that supervisory responsibility, so we see what your guys' net worth all is. And he's very, very proud of the amount, and he'll say, all the millionaires we have as representatives and all that stuff. Again, people eating their own cooking and stuff. We realize that you could be in another broker-dealer, you guys could work in another company and all that stuff. He is very proud to be a small part of your success.
He was really like the glue of the company. He really held it all together. And I said, it's no secret that Billy and David don't always see eye to eye. It's been a few times when they may have killed one another, and Dad was there to smooth it out. And I said to David, I said, "Gee, I don't know, can I say something like that?" And he said, "Yeah, no problem, Paul. We can always edit it."
Conversations that we used to have sitting outside, because I was his receptionist, and sitting in the front desk, and him sitting in the chair, and even seeing him on his hands and knees with Katie. And he said, "Come to people, come on." And the girls would, Katie would be walking down the hallway, try to walk to him, and the biggest smile on his face, because them girls are, your girls are everything to him.
David asked me to speak, and I talked about him being like a father figure. And unfortunately, my dad passed away 5.5 years ago. And it's nice to know that I've got somebody like your father that I can go to for business, personal reasons, whatever. I mean, his integrity is second to none. If you just go out and work hard and do a clean, honest job, you got no problem.
I want you to think of one word, one adjective that you think encompasses Bill the most.
Integrity.
Caring.
That's not one word, but hard work.
I think humble.
Intelligent.
Frugal.
Honest.
Thoughtful.
I think he's genuine.
He's a family man. He cares about his family and the families of the people that work for him.
That's 10 words, Kenny.
As I become older, and this could be said for each and every one of us, is that I always look at him in the light of Jimmy Stewart now more than I ever have. It's a Wonderful Life. Because, and I think about that all the time, because take your dad out of the picture, how would my life be different today? I don't know where I would be today. I know where I'm at now because of him and because of all of you. But I look at him as Jimmy Stewart and It's a Wonderful Life because that's what he's given me because he was in my life. You know, and I think that needs to be said from me to you.